What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Cappers Only, powered by DubClub. I'm your host, Hefe Picks, and this is the show where every week we get on with a different capper on Twitter. We talk to them about how they started, where they're coming from. We'll go through their favorite, most profitable sport. We'll even touch on their system, how they come up with the plays that they give to their clients. And lastly, the part we all wait for, 3 plays, including one best bet. Before we get into who our special guest is for this week's episode, I have to give a shout out to our sponsor, DubClub, who makes Cappers Only possible. DubClub is the hub for simplified sports handicapping. If you're a capper, you can use DubClub to supercharge your business. If you're a sports fan looking to find your perfect capper, head to dubclub.win right now and let's start winning more together. Without further ado, our guest for this week on Cappers Only is Dead Prez. Get him in here.
What's up, bro?
So much for doing this with us, Dead. I really appreciate it, man. I know you are a man who has a lot of things to do, so appreciate you taking a few minutes to talk with us here.
Nah, of course, man. Yeah, thank you for having me on. Can't wait to get into it.
Same, man. So let's not even waste any more time with it. Let's start right with it, man. A little introduction, little story about how and why you started your account, man.
Yeah, so it actually started with 4 people. So it was back in college. I guess it was my sophomore year. We were watching the Patriots-Rams Super Bowl, and we were kind of just looking for picks on Twitter. And a few beers later, we're thinking that we can come up with it also and do the same thing. So we decided to make an account like after the game, like midnight that night. Never thought that we would go back to the account. So it was kind of one of those things where, you just make it and kind of give up on it. But we were posting some stuff, and we ended up getting, we would DM people kind of and just be like, hey, you interested in like getting our picks? And I remember I was at baseball practice, and my buddy Nick, who still does the business with me, we were messaging a guy who signed up. He's still a client with us. Wow. And signs up for like it's like $50 or $25 for a month. And, back in college, that can go a long way. So, I'm all excited. And then we kind of, at that point, we're like, all right, we might be able to do something with this. So it was, I guess it was March Madness time at that point, because we started in February. We got real hot on the picks and ended up kind of, making a little bit of money there. And it was just a lot of fun. I mean, growing up, I always wanted to do, like sports writing, right, sports content. Didn't ever connect that it would be, through sports gambling, because when I was a kid, obviously that wasn't.
Yeah, had a taboo to it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it kind of had this stigma around it where it was illegal. So never really got into that. But once the business got going, it was kind of like a lot of cappers today when they'll talk. It's tough. I mean, too, growing, it's hard at the beginning.
Absolutely.
There's so many, and especially now. I mean, just the 2-year difference. Everyone has an account now. There's thousands and thousands on Twitter. So it's tougher, I think, to grow now. So I kind of think I went in at a good time, right? Like 3 years ago, kind of when gambling was getting back to or becoming legal. So. Yeah, that's kind of how the account came, and then started doing content. It was actually around COVID that we kind of caught a break with just I was doing international leagues and
right
stuff, and somehow, some way,
ABO, baby.
Yeah, exactly. Somehow, some way, those picks were winning, even though I had no idea what I was doing. I was just kind of giving out picks. I joke with people now. They're like, "Did you?" I was like, "No, I was legitimately guessing like what to pick," but it ends up working at the time. And, then once that happened, started getting into content. Now I'm doing content as a lead betting analyst with Odds Checker, which I love, doing articles, podcasts and stuff. So It's been a dream come true. It's been a great time.
Oh, wow. Well, first of all, thank you for the descriptive answer and literally giving us the timeline of how it came. So the one thing you didn't mention, though, that I've always wondered, the name, Dead Prez Picks. How did you guys come up with that one?
Honestly, I think it was one of my friends so we ended up buying out the 2 other guys for $50. So I tell them there's the McDonald's buyout and then there's the Dead Prez buyout. So they got but I think it was one of them. I mean, I honestly don't know how the name came about, we just stuck with it. $50 later.
Wow, man, that's so serious.
We're still good friends, but
that's good. That's good. Good. They definitely soured though. They definitely soured. Yeah, all right, man. Let's move on here. So best sport, favorable sport, most profitable sport. This could be one answer. It could be three different answers. We're basically looking like, what is your favorite sport to watch, to cap? And is that also your most profitable sport? Is it another one?
Well, yeah, it's kind of fun. So my best sport I would start with to watch, or my favorite sport to watch rather, is definitely NFL. So and college football. I mean, I'm sure I'm not in the minority there. I think a lot of people, the fall weekends when you can wake up, you can sleep in right till like 12.
There's nothing like it.
Yeah, it just rolls all day. So I mean, I think undoubtedly it's my favorite. My most profitable since I started. I guess 3 years ago, really tracking and having like a spreadsheet and it being legitimately done is actually MLB. So, but MLB is not my favorite sport to watch. It honestly might be my fourth favorite sport to watch.
Likewise, yep.
The game drags on, especially, I mean, if you're gambling on the MLB, sitting through a whole game, it can be tough. Yeah. So I wouldn't say, I mean, I grew up, I played baseball in college. I mean, it was my favorite sport to play, but it was not ever my favorite sport to watch. I agree with a lot of people. It's boring. It's long. They need to figure out a way to make it more entertaining. Yeah. Kind of a two-part answer there. So my favorite sport
I like it.
Is football.
Yeah, no, I'm with you right there. I like it when your favorite sport as a person is not your most profitable sport. It shows your diversity in just, diversifying your sports portfolio, so to speak.
Yeah.
I like that, man. All right. What's your system? How do you get the plays that How do you get the play to your client? How do you decide this is the play? We're not looking for something really detailed, but like the overview, from start to finish, you see a slate, you go through a couple games. How do you identify this is the play I send to my clients?
Yeah, well, it's funny because a lot of people, I think, actually do have like true systems. I honestly don't do anything with numbers or anything like that. I kind of just use the eye test and kind of just my knowledge of sports. I mean, I feel like first and foremost, I always was more into watching sports than gambling on sports. So I feel like I knew kind of, tendencies in games. I look at, obviously, public money and that stuff lately, but sometimes I think people can overcomplicate because I've done it before where, you kind of look so into it and you're like, no way, the public's getting this one. And then you kind of start picking, more based on that than actually
contrarian.
Yes, exactly. Then your instincts. Yeah. And like I always say, it's funny because people will comment, it's such a square pick. I'm like, well, look, people who bet square still win almost 50% of the time. Like, it's not like they don't win. The margins are so slim with being contrarian and non-contrarian.
Right.
2 to 3% difference. So sometimes you have to be square. I mean, the favorites.
I agree.
Yeah, I think that to be a mix of it. I mean, some people are straight contrarian and do well with it, and I give them credit. But I think at times, if you see a minus 150 line and you think it should be, minus 250, you still see value in it. So I don't use a true, system. The oppo system sometimes we'll use, where a team wins a couple and we'll switch it up. But, for the most part, I kind of just go by the eye test.
I like it, man. I think you have to have a mix of both, right? Use a little analytics, use a little eye test, be a little contrarian, be a little square. Because like you said, at the end of the day, you're dealing with 2-3% margins, and depending on how big or small of a better your bankroll is, it could be $100, could be $50, could be $10,000, right? So you got to work within the margins, baby. But I like the mixture. I love the mixture. I don't think you can be one way or the other. You have to be well-rounded.
Yep, that's what it is.
All right, man, before we get into last couple things and we talk about the plays of the day and the best bet, let me give one more shout out to our people over at DubClub. DubClub is the hub for simplified sports handicapping. If you're a capper, you can use DubClub to supercharge your business like Dead Prez is doing. If you're a sports fan looking to find your perfect capper like Dead Prez, head to dubclub.win and start winning more together. There's a QR code in the corner. You can scan it right now. It'll bring you right to DubClub. You can find a bunch of different cappers that suit what you're looking for. So make sure to scan the QR code, go find Dead Prez on there, and go sign up for his services, man. And since we're talking about DubClub, I know you've been with them for a little minute so far. Tell us about your experience so far and how it's kind of made your life easier.
Yeah, it's been outstanding. I mean, I've tried other stuff before, and just to be blunt, it's not as good, right? I think the advantage that DubClub gives is they kind of handle all the stuff that as a capper you don't want to handle, right? And especially a lot of times you don't have time to handle. A lot of cappers, like myself, that you might do content for other places and companies. And then I think a lot of times people forget cappers have normal lives and don't want to be sitting on the internet all day answering DMs and looking at lines and all that. So, yeah, the advantage of DubClub, it's quick, right? You punch it in. It's text service, so clients absolutely love it. They don't have to go through anything Twitter. They don't have to go through, I don't know, Discord. However, distribute picks, DMs can get lost a lot. So, yeah, outstanding service at DubClub. I absolutely love it.
Awesome, man. Love to hear it. Couldn't agree with you more, man. They give cappers more time to do the stuff that matters versus wasting time on the BS. That's the easiest way to describe
it, too, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. So dedicated to the pick.
Yeah. Less time answering DMs, sending emails, sending texts, which way you used to get your plays to your clients. DubClub gives more time to do the stuff that actually matters.
100%.
Get the play right.
Yeah.
All right, man. Let's move on. Everybody's been waiting. You know what time it is. It's time for best bets. We're going to go over 3 games. You're going to give us a play on each. And after that, you're going to choose one for your best bet. So we're starting with the MLB tonight. A little short slate, but we still identified some good angles. Going to start with the Reds Diamondbacks game. What's your play on this one?
Yeah, this is a game I'm going to go with the under here. We get Bumgarner versus Hunter Green. Hunter Green's been a lot of, Jekyll and Hyde. You don't know who's going to show up this season. So to say that this might be a roller coaster, I think would be a true statement. He has wipeout stuff. I mean, if you have not seen him or watched him, I believe he has like the most 100-mile-an-hour pitches by a length. Like it's not close. Nope. I mean, I think everything he throws is pretty much triple digits, which is absurd. But as we know, velocity doesn't do it all in the MLB. So he has got touched at times. But see, I think his stats are a bit misleading. I think his ERA is a little inflated because he's had, one awful inning start. So you just have to avoid kind of that crooked number. He's young. He'll learn. I think he'll be very good in this league for a long time. So I like Green a lot. And then Bumgarner on the other side, he's actually had a really good year. But the D-backs have not put up a lot of run support for him. So he's 2-4, but his ERA is just a 3.31. So he kind of deserves better than what they've given so far. Arizona ranks, I believe, 26th in the league in runs per game. Neither team's all that explosive offensively. I just think 10's a little too high. You might have to sweat this a little bit because neither bullpen's great. But I think we do see a strong performance from Hunter Green. Hopefully the version of Hunter Green that we need to shows up tonight.
I like it, man. I like it. And speaking of Hunter Green, man, people forget. He's 22 years old.
Exactly.
He's just getting started. And then on the other side, Bumgarner, I think Bumgarner is just waiting it out to the trade deadline. I think he's going to be one of the hottest picks for a contending team that needs an arm. Because he's at the point of his career where I don't think the Diamondbacks can get much out of him anymore, but he can be a really strong arm for a team needing a little jolt at the trade deadline.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
But I like the underplay. All right, let's move on to the next one. We're sticking with the MLB. We're going over to the Red Sox and Angels, where we got Syndergaard on the mound for the Halos, Walker on the mound for the Sox in LA. What do we think here, Dad?
Yeah, well, this will be my best bet that I'm going to go with overall. So I'm going to go Angels here on the money line. So a lot of people do not bet on teams when they've lost 11 in a row, but I think
it's crazy.
I think this is a really good spot for them tonight at home. My Phillies just swept them, and they had a couple. Like last night was a brutal loss for the Angels. I don't know how much longer Joe Madden survives this. To tell you the truth, I mean, we saw the Phillies did it with Joe Girardi. Some of these quote unquote old school managers kind of get wiped out, right? I mean, Tony La Russa in Chicago, we saw they have really struggled this year. They're great managers. I mean, but at this point, sometimes your team just needs new life and
a different voice.
Exactly. Yeah, just create some kind of energy. But Wack is a guy who I expect to regress heavily as the season goes on. I mean, if you look at his numbers right now, he's putting up like number 1, number 2 starter type of numbers. That's not what he is. Syndergaard on the other side, kind of again, he's a 4.02, but it's been misleading because he's either been 7 innings, no runs, or 2 innings, 6 runs. So you just have to hope the version of Syndergaard that we know shows up tonight. I understand people being a little scared off by this play, but it's by far my favorite play. The Angels are due. They're back at home. Let's get it done.
I got one stat for you that'll totally back everything you're saying, and also I agree with you. Syndergaard at home is a different guy. He's 3-0 at a 1.4 ERA. Perfect. On the road is where he struggles. So I think tonight I totally agree with you. The guy's a stud at home, and let's not forget, Syndergaard is one of those he bet on himself type of people. He took a 1-year deal. So he has all the motivation in the world to pitch his ass off every time he hits that mound.
Great point.
All right, man. Let's get into the last play. We're rolling over to the NHL. Game 4, Western Conference Finals. Avs Oilers. Avs have been dominating. Can the Oilers possibly get one tonight? What do you think, man?
Well, I'm going to say, yeah. I mean, the value here is what I like in Edmonton, because I think that this kind of game tonight, their season's obviously on the line. I mean, they're at a point where if you get swept, it's just there's something about at least winning a game in front of your home crowd, extending the series, and showing some life. And I'm not saying Colorado's not going to be motivated for this game. Obviously, they would love to sweep, but the energy has to be higher from Edmonton. I mean, it just has to be. They have to show something. Colorado did their job. They're going to win the series. I mean, they won 2 at home. They stole 1 in Edmonton. Their job's done. So, I mean, if they lose this game tonight, they wash that quick. It doesn't really mean much.
Yep,
I think Edmonton gets it done here. Good value again. I like the value shot that we're getting on Edmonton in this game tonight. So give me the Oilers. I think they'll extend this series and get it to 5. And then
it's your typical we have nothing to lose, so let's just go out there and have fun at it, game style. And Colorado's just okay, fine. Yeah. We'll win the series and raise the Wendell Garvin's trophy at home in front of the crowd. It's almost like a win-win type of situation.
Sometimes teams want that. The Warriors said that when they played Dallas. Yeah, they wanted to do it in front of their home crowd. I mean, I don't think they intentionally lost the game, but they're like, hey, all right, we'll do it in front of the home crowd. Colorado could do the same here tonight.
Totally agree with you, man. All right, you mentioned it once before, but we'll just say it again. Your best bet out of those 3 is?
Well, I'm going to go with the Angels. Yeah, they're breaking the losing streak tonight, so the best bet here, Angels money line at -110.
I like it, man. I like it. I like for all the reasons you said. Syndergaard's ERA at home to 1.4, record 3-0. They're at home today. They've lost 11 in a freaking row. They're so due. As our wonderful friend Sam the Bookie would say, they are due.
Yep.
Dad, listen, it's been a freaking absolute pleasure to have you on this show. Thank you so much for spending some time with me. Listen, I know you got 78.4 thousand followers, but it's your time to shine right now. Tell anybody who for some reason isn't in that 78.4 why they should be following you.
Yeah, well, give a follow. We're doing 3 to 4 free picks a day as well, articles, podcasting. So try to give you guys as much details as well. I'm not just flipping coins with the picks. Although sometimes we flip coins with picks. It depends. But for the majority of the time, I'm going to have a reason behind it. So give a follow. But yeah, thank you so much for having me on, man. Love the show. You guys are doing great work over there. So
appreciate you, man. You heard it over there. You heard it. Head it to DubClub.win and start winning more together. DubClub is a simplified sports. It's the hub, baby. It's the hub for handicap. If you're a capper, get on there. If you're a client looking to find the perfect capper for you, head to DubClub.win. QR code in the corner. Until next time on Cappers Only, peace.